Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is my 24-hour reading challenge. Finally, I know, I have been talking about wanting to do it since I started my channel, but then just never got to it. And obviously days are winding down until I leave for college, so I was like, I need to do this before I go. So that is what I'm going to be doing today. Basically, on my Instagram, I did a poll for 2 different books to start. Basically just which one should I start with? And then I let you guys pick what I start with. So the 2 books were The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. So this is the first book in the Inheritance Games series. I've been wanting to read this for a while and it's on my TBR, so I was like, I think this is a good one to put on there. And then another book from my TBR, because I'm gonna try to read books on my TBR in this video, but I'm also very aware that trying to stay awake, I'm gonna want to read books I'm gonna want to read. So if I'm looking at my TBR and I'm like, I don't want to read any of those, I'm not gonna force myself to do it, because then I'm probably not gonna get through as many books, and my goal is to get through as many books as I can. So the second book was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I need to start the series so I put it on there, and they're both I know they this looks bigger, but they're pretty much the same size. It's just they're taller and shorter. But I don't remember the percentages, but I think it was somewhere between 46, no, I don't remember. I'm not even gonna try. I'm gonna put a picture of what it is, but The Inheritance Game won, so this will be the first book that I read in this video. And like I said, after that, I'll just pick what I feel like reading next, because I want to make sure that I actually stay up, and I don't want to put myself in a reading slump either. So yeah, let's just get into the video. Like I said, I'm just gonna set a timer for 24 hours and see how long I can do it. So wish me luck, guys. So I tried to get music to play for these silent clips, but it was not working, so I'm gonna have to figure that out on a later date. So I'll just be doing voiceovers for these parts. Basically, here I am reading The Inheritance Games. You know, literally probably only 5 pages in, but wanted to have this in the video. So yeah, look at me. Wow, I really wanted to go to bed at that point. It was only the first book and I was already like, let's go to sleep. Okay. Spoiler alert coming up, because I can't not talk about this. So if you haven't read this book yet, I'll put on the screen spoiler, so skip ahead of it. But so some old guy that you have never heard of leaves you billions of dollars and all of his estates and a letter. So you open the letter assuming it's going to explain why he did such things, and all it says is, "Dearest Avery, I'm sorry," and then his initials. No. This is unacceptable. Somebody's got to dig him up out of the grave, get him out, get him talking, because what? Okay, it is 2:53 in the morning. I have 20 hours left. I'm already exhausted and I want to go to sleep. I literally thought about it. I was like, what if I just stopped? What if I just didn't do this? What if I just went to bed? But I'm not. I'm gonna do it. I might take a nap at some point for a couple hours. I'm not gonna lie. I don't know if I can go through 24 hours without sleeping at all, but I did finish my first book, The Inheritance Games. I'll talk briefly about each book after I finish it, but then at the end of the challenge, I'll film a separate thing where I kind of go through it a little bit more in depth. Just because right now I'm so tired, I'm not even thinking straight. But basically I would rate this about 4 stars, maybe a 4.25. I'm not totally sure which one I would give it yet. It was interesting because the plot was very different from other books I've read, but there were also parts where I was kind of bored and was kind of skimming, and I don't love that. But I am interested and intrigued, and I do want to read the rest of the series. Okay, so we're on to my next book of this challenge, and I was like, I don't know what I want to read. I literally wasn't that I didn't want to read anything, but I was also like, I want to read everything. And I was going to pick up a book, but then I was like, it's late. It's literally 3 in the morning. And I was like, I might want to start reading on my Kindle and like turn my lights off and kind of lay in bed, which is probably not a good idea because it'll probably make me fall asleep, but I don't know, we'll see. So I wanted to pick a book that was on Kindle that I could read if I decide that I want to read on my Kindle. I then just decided I'll just read the fine print too. Like when I did the voting, people wanted me to read this too. Like it wasn't just all the Inheritance games. So I'll read this too. I need to start the series anyways, so might as well just do that now. I don't know what I will read after. I literally have no idea. Like I couldn't tell you at all. But yes, we're starting The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. Okay, so I don't see it as like a huge spoiler, but it might become a spoiler. I'm not sure what's on the back of the book because I haven't read that in so long. But basically, like, the plot line is like their grandpa dies and he leaves basically Disney World in this land, in like this universe, to his grandkids, which happen to be 3 brothers, and they'll have to like do something to like receive like the percentage of the company. And basically, like, what he has to do, like, he has to become like, was it director? I think that's what it said. Yeah, he has to become the director and then like come up with like a unique idea for like a project. And like people have, like specific people have to vote on it, and if they don't like it, he doesn't get a second try. Like his things just go to his dad. He doesn't get it. I'm like, okay, the way like it's a whole letter you're reading, and he seems like he loves his grandkids and he's all happy and like, oh blah blah. Then why are you making it so difficult? Like, it'd be one thing if it's like, I want you to direct my company, then you'll get your, like, that'd be one thing. But like, what, I don't know, it just, I get for the book it's what the plot is, but like also why? I don't understand. Well, here I am again. Now I'm reading the fine print. Also probably like 5 pages in, I just would set up the camera to record because I was like, if I don't record this now, I will forget. And honestly, as you watch the rest of the video, you'll probably see that I did that a lot. I forgot to film, just myself reading just to add more, entertainment to the video instead of me just constantly talking about the books. But yeah, so far I was enjoying the book. It wasn't horrible. It was only the beginning, so, and I liked the playlist a lot, so that was good. Okay, so I started reading on my Kindle because I just needed like a change of scenery type thing. I just didn't feel like holding a book anymore, and I wanted to lay down, which then I did, but then my eyes started to close and I was like, hey, you gotta sit back up because you're gonna fall asleep. I don't like what he's doing right now. Like, I'm sorry. You're pretending, kind of spoiler alert, you're like pretending to be somebody else, but like you're not. I don't know about like that. It's feeling a little deceiving. I don't know. The book has like kind of an interesting plot, but also kind of a really boring plot at the same time. Like, I feel like there's nothing really happening. So I'm a little disappointed so far. I'm about 24% of the way through the book, so like, I know it's still kind of early, but I mean, I don't know. I'm hoping it'll pick up soon, personally. Okay, so it is 7 in the morning. I have like 16 hours left. I finished the fine print. Honestly, really, I didn't like it that much. I think I'd give it like a 3.5. I'm still going to continue the series because I've heard like most people, like, they think that like each book gets better. But I don't know, like, I enjoyed certain parts and like certain plot lines, like, spoiler, I guess. I wanted this to be not spoiler free, but it's kind of hard not to, but like, he gets her favorite author to like have kind of like a meet and greet type thing, and like she signs the books and all of that, and like I liked that, like that was cute and all of that. But I don't know, I felt like the book literally could have been like 200 pages shorter. I don't know, it just felt like it was being really dragged on. So for me, it wasn't my favorite thing in the world that I've read, but that's okay. It happens. I still love Lauren Asher. Like I said, I feel like it's gonna be hard to beat the Dirty Air series for me. I loved that series by her, so I don't know, but we'll see. So I just took like a tiny break to like go eat something because I was hungry, and put eye drops in my eyes because oh my goodness, my eyes were so dry. I was like, is it because I didn't go to I don't know, they're really dry, so I did that. So now it is 7:34. I have like 15 and a half hours. I want to take a nap, but I feel like it's still kind of too early in the challenge to like take a nap, so I'm not going to. But I picked a smaller book, so hopefully this won't take as long and I can maybe take a nap after this. But this is Meet Me in the Blue. It's like almost 300-ish pages, so it's not short, but it's not like 500 pages, so it should be okay. And it's like a small book itself, and the font's pretty decent size, so that's what I'm gonna read now. Now I'm reading Meet Me in the Blue. I was also, again, at the beginning of the book. I don't know why I didn't trust myself to be able to film later points in the book, but I think I just get too like into the books and I kind of forget about everything else around me. And I did end up taking a nap very soon after this was filmed because I was so tired. I couldn't keep my eyes open. I don't know if you can tell in this video, but it was hard, very difficult. I finished my third book, which was Meet Me in the Blue by A.M. Johnson. I actually really enjoyed this. It was like a cute romance, but it also had like a lot of deep emotional stuff with it, which I liked, because sometimes in romance books you either get the deep and emotional or you get the cute. So I liked that there was a mixture in this book. What else do I want to say about it right now? It was like a best friends to lovers trope, but like best friends to kind of like, not strangers, but like we lost touch to lovers. I would probably rate this a 4.25, maybe 4.5. So I finally picked my next book. I literally like took me like 10 minutes because there's so many books that I want to read, and so sometimes when that happens I struggle to pick one. So instead of picking one of the bajillion ones, I was like, oh, I want to read that, I want to read that. I'm like, I already read 3 books off of my TBR for this month in this video. I thought I might as well continue with that. And I chose Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton because it's like 150 pages, so it should be pretty quick for me to read and finish. It's very different than the books that I've read so far in this video, so it'll kind of be like a change of, I don't want to say a change of scenery, but like the vibe will be very different. The other 3 that I've read have all had like similar things, like not like, oh, it's the same book, but there have been similarities and stuff like that, so I wanted something kind of different, so I'm going with this. We'll see. I've heard mixed reviews about it because it's like her darkest book, but it's like the prequel to the Haunting and Hunting Adeline books, and I have a bunch of friends who've read them who want me to read them and stuff like that, so I'm gonna try to read this. I wouldn't be surprised if I came back on here in a few minutes and was like, I'm DNFing this book. This is too much for me, because I have heard that some people struggle reading this book. But some people don't, so I don't know. We'll see. Okay, so I finished my 4th book of this video. So yeah, I read Satan's Affair. I didn't DNF it. I will say the beginning, I was like, this is weird. I don't really like this. I'm a little uncomfortable. But it was so short that I'm like, I can just read it. Like, I want to give it a chance. And then it kind of got more of like a plot line. I see why it's like a prequel to that series, because for a while I was like, how does this relate to the Haunting and Hunting Adeline books? But then, you know, you get to that part. The ending kind of caught me off guard, I'm not gonna lie. I actually liked the ending. I thought it was very interesting for the way the book was written. It's not like my favorite thing in the world. I probably would only rate it like a 3 stars, but I did think that if you read it, when you get to the end, it makes the whole book much more interesting because of what happens at the end. But it's also very sad because there are a lot of triggering things in here about characters and their pasts and things like that. So that's not, you know, always fun to read about, but I think that the author just got really creative with the book. I don't know. Like I said, I think I'm gonna rate it 3 stars. I don't know if my glasses have been on in other clips, but I don't like need them, but like sometimes my eyes get tired reading, so I put them on to help not tired my whatever. So as you've seen in the video, I've read the Inheritance Game so far, The Fine Print, Meet Me in the Blue, and then Satan's Affair. So I was like, okay, well, the things that are left in my TBR are Thrive and Divine Rivals. I decided not to do Thrive because I feel like at this stage, like if I would have read that first, I probably could have finished the series in this video, if we're being totally honest. But I didn't do that. Would have been smart, but I didn't do that. And then Divine Rivals, I really do want to read, but I'm also kind of nervous to read it because everyone's like not comparing it to Fourth Wing, but like hype wise it's like similar, and I don't know if I can get another addiction to a book like that right now. Like the Fourth Wing thing is really just like I'm addicted, so I'm gonna hold off on that. Maybe, we'll see. So I decided to read Unravel Me on my Kindle because that just came out and I finished Play With Me earlier this week. And I've been thinking about it the whole time. Okay, literally 2 pages in. I am 2 pages in. And I already love Adam because his nickname is my nickname. So Garrett called him Woody, and he said that Woody's a short version of his last name, Lockwood. Well, Woody is like a family nickname in my family because we have the word wood in our last name. So I already love him. He's my favorite already purely because of that, because we share a nickname. So love that for us. I know none of you are gonna care, but I do, so I needed to share. Well, actually, my sister will care because she'll appreciate the whole nickname thing, but everybody else will probably be like, Paige, literally no one cares. But I decided that you all needed to know that, so. Okay, so I'm like 30% of the way through the book. Spoiler alert. So the girl that he's dating has a son who's 15 months old, I think, if I remember correctly. And he keeps calling Adam Dada, and like Rosie, the girl, she's like, it's just a phase, I'm sorry, like blah blah blah. But he loves it, like he finds it so cute. And so like they just like put him down for like a nap or whatever, and like the kid came back out and he's like, cat, and like stuffed animal cat that he has to sleep with. And so his mom gave it to him, and then he goes, mama, kiss, like question mark, like, are you giving me a kiss goodnight? So he did, and then he turns to Adam and goes, dada kiss. I was like, and then he did, he kissed him goodnight. I was like, where's the ring? Put it on my finger. Like, what? So adorable. I don't normally like kids in books. Normally single parent tropes and stuff like that just aren't my thing. Nothing wrong with kids. I don't like it. Okay, I have also been waiting for this. Okay, so Rosie is super attached to this dog Piglet at the like vet clinic thing she works at. I can't remember what it's called. Wild Heart? I think it's something like that. And she like loves this dog and wants to adopt it, but she's like, I don't have the money, I don't have the space, like I have the love for it, but it deserves better than what I can give it. And so she comes in on Christmas Day. She's like, oh, I'm just stopping by to say hi to Piglet. And they tell her that Piglet was adopted. I've been calling it since the beginning when she met him, and you know, she had talked about like, oh, he's not mine, you know, dog's not mine, but I love Piglet and blah, blah. I'm like, they're gonna get together, they're gonna move in, and he's gonna adopt Piglet for her. I'm telling you, that's what's gonna happen. Becca Mack would not crush my soul and heart by getting me all attached to this dog and attached to Rosie and the dog's connection for her to literally have somebody else adopt it. Okay, so I finished Unravel Me, and I'm going to rate it 5 stars. I'm not going to do a whole explanation right now because I'm going to do like a separate thing for like a review of all the books. But definitely my favorite read of the video. So it was a good way to end the video. Not gonna lie, I wanted to start with it, but I knew that it would probably be my favorite because I've been looking forward to it for so long. So that's kind of why I wanted to save it till the end. But yeah, this is gonna be very interesting to edit. I filmed a lot of like random stuff, so hopefully this video doesn't look too weird, but if it does, I apologize. It is my first time filming a 24-hour reading challenge. I know how to do it, I just don't know the best way of filming it, so bear with me, you know, we'll see. But let's get into the wrap-up of the whole video. Okay, so that is it for my 24-hour reading challenge. I'm going to quickly go through all the books that I read, what I rated them, and a little bit more detail of why I rated them, because some of them, I'm watching the videos back and I'm like, girl, what are you even saying? Like, you don't even make sense. I was just so out of it. So I can explain in more detail that like makes sense, but also, you know, just it's set, I've read them, they've, you know, I have a bit more of an opinion on the books than I did when I just immediately finished them. So the first book that I read for our 24-hour reading challenge was The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. I did rate this 4 stars. It had a very interesting plot. I mean, compared to other books that I've read, there haven't been plots like this, so I am intrigued and I do want to continue the series. I will say, when I was reading it, because it's like, there is a love triangle, but it's not like the main plot, at least not yet. I don't know, maybe in the other books it'll become more of a plot, but there's 4 brothers, but the love triangle is between 2 brothers, Grayson and Jameson, and the whole time I was reading it, all I could think of was the Summer I Turned Pretty series with Belly, Conrad, and Jeremiah, especially because it's a TV show now, so it's like very popular. A lot of people know about it now. And so I'm like, okay, well, I think this would be Conrad and this one would be Jeremiah. Like, I don't know, for some reason, like, Grayson gives off Conrad vibes and Jameson gives off Jeremiah vibes. Like, I'm not saying that if you were a Conrad girly, you're a Grayson girly. I'm just saying, like, that's the vibe based off this book that I got. But it was just kind of funny to like read that, and that was like the first thing that popped in my head. I was like, oh, it's kind of similar. But no, the plot was very interesting. That's why I gave it 4 stars. It just wasn't as intriguing as I thought it was gonna be, but it was the first book, so maybe the other ones will be better. I'm not sure, but it was a good start to the challenge. It wasn't like, oh wow, I hated this book. Okay, I don't want to keep doing this. So the next book that I read in my challenge was The Fine Print by Lauren Asher. I rated this 3.5 stars. I'm really disappointed. I was super excited to start this series, and I know that this one isn't normally people's favorite, but I haven't heard like bad things about it. But I don't know, I just really couldn't get into it. Like, the whole idea, like the plot line of like the brothers having to do stuff to get their like inheritance basically, and which I thought was really ironic that was after I read this, that I was like, that's kind of funny. There, obviously not the same book, but I had a similar kind of idea there, with like the needing to get your inheritance and receiving an inheritance from someone. But I don't know, I didn't love the whole, like, I know it's not Disney World, but it's that, like, it's called Dreamland, like it's the, you know, Disney World in this universe. I don't know, I just didn't like that plot personally, so I'm a little worried about the other 2 books. I may not like them because of that too, but I'm going to give them a shot. I do know most people like the second and third one best. Like, it can go either way. Some people like the second one better than the third one, and some people like the third one better than the second one. Most people I know, the first isn't their favorite, so I'm not gonna let it deter me too much, but it does make me a little nervous. The next book that I read was Meet Me in the Blue by A.M. Johnson. I rated this a 4.25. I mean, I enjoyed it. There was nothing that I was like, oh, this was horrible, I didn't like this. But there also wasn't anything that was like, wow, I love this. This is a 5 stars. So it was good. I definitely would recommend it to people if you like what the plot is, which basically it's an MM romance between 2 guys who have been best friends like most of their life. One of them moves away, and now they're coming back because the one that moved away's dad is sick, so he needs to come back, and so they like kind of rekindle their friendship and then discover that there's a little bit more than friendship going on there. It was very interesting though, because the author, the one dude, Luca, if I remember correctly, Luca is gay. But then you have Rook, I think that's how you pronounce his name, who is trying to figure out his sexuality, and it's hinted that he might be demi or asexual. So I thought that was really interesting. But it was just different. Most MMs I read, they're either gay or bisexual. Like there's no other option given, even though there are other sexualities that could work. So I thought that was really interesting. Like, it intrigued me more when I saw that. I was like, okay, we're getting more representation of other sexualities in books. So I did like that. But yeah, it was good. I liked it. The next book I read was Satan's Affair by H.D. Carlton. I rated this 3 stars. I just read it because I want to read the Haunting and Hunting Adeline series. And when I find out that there's an order to things, I have to read it in that order. So when I found out that there was a prequel, I had to read the prequel. Or at least give it a chance. I wasn't gonna, like, if I really was uncomfortable, I would have DNF'd it. But it was like, okay, yeah, there were things that were like, oh, that's kind of gross, or but it wasn't anything where I was like, oh, I can't read this. Like, I've read stuff like this before, or I've seen it in, like, TV shows and stuff, like, you know. But it was, I mean, it was interesting. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I'm totally bored, but I also was kind of like, it's a little weird. But when I got to the end of the book and I read what the author basically made the character's ending, it changed the story for me. Like, I was low-key gonna rate it like 2 stars, but then I found out what happened at the end, and it kind of made everything else, I don't want to say make sense, but like it made it more interesting. So that's why I rated this 3 stars. It was there. I'm never gonna probably reread it, but it was interesting to read the one time around. So yeah. Okay, so the last book that I read was Unravel Me, which you guys, if you've watched the video, you know that I rated that 5 stars. I'm super glad that I read it in this video because I really, like, I read Play With Me, and then, like, as I was reading Play With Me, Unravel Me came out, and I was like, okay, I need to read it. Like, I literally have been waiting for it for months. So I definitely knew I was gonna read it this month. I just didn't know when. So I'm glad that I got to it in this video. Unravel Me, oh my gosh, definitely the best book in the entire Playing for Keeps series. Becca Mack is one of my favorite authors. Like, I mean, I've only read this series by her, but, like, still, only reading this series, she's one of my favorite authors. Like, I've never been disappointed by one of her books. I would put her over on this shelf because, like, when I did my bookshelf tour, I explained that this is a lot of times, like, authors I really enjoy. But because of the books that are over here right now, I don't have room for it. Like, there's so many authors I could put on this shelf. So this shelf is kind of, like, defeated its purpose, per se. But I love Becca Mack. Like, oh, I hope she has more books in the series. I don't know if she has plans for more than 3, but I hope she does because I will read them all. That was my 24-hour reading challenge. I hope you enjoyed. Really hope that this edits well because I put a lot of effort into it. But if this is, like, the worst edited video you see, or you watch it and you're like, girl, you've done better videos. I know. It's my first time. It will get better as I do it more. I definitely think next time I do this, which probably won't be for a while, I will be doing 12-hour increments where I will read from, like, noon to midnight, and then the next day read from noon to midnight, because not sleeping is not good. Like, halfway through that, like, I literally, like, I take some Advil. Like, I thought I had, like, a fever, and, like, I felt super nauseous. Like, it was not good. So if you do want to do this, I would recommend doing the 12-hour increments, not literally full 24 hours. Okay, I'm gonna go to bed now because I can already tell that I'm not able to focus on this video anymore. I hope you all enjoyed. I hope you all have great days, great nights, whatever time you're watching this. Love you all and the support that you give me, because now we're a whole 23 subscribers. Yay! So yeah, like, comment, subscribe, do all your stuff, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!